All right, hi YouTube. So today we are making banana pudding, and all the ingredients that you'll need are vanilla wafers, bananas, milk, pudding mix, vanilla pudding mix, and sweetened condensed milk. And also, I'm going to be making homemade whipped cream. So you're going to need heavy cream if you want to make homemade whipped cream. If not, you can always use Cool Whip. So to get started, I'm going to add my pudding mix to this bowl. Okay, so I just added my pudding and 3 cups of milk to this bowl, and then we're going to mix it with a whisk. And of course, pudding is getting everywhere because my whisk. I put it on the slowest speed possible. I thought I put it on the slowest speed possible. Okay, so the whisking is going interesting, but yes, we are whisking our pudding, as you can see, and I'm trying to whisk it slow, but it has a mind of its own, I believe. I think by the time I'm done with this, I'm gonna have pudding everywhere. Okay. Okay, so after mixing the pudding, I'm going to add the sweetened condensed milk to the bowl, and then we're going to chill this pudding for about 3 to 4 hours. We want the pudding to have a nice texture to it and not be really runny. So right now I'm going to add the sweetened condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk is always like super delicious. A lot of people put it on like funnel cakes and stuff, but I just love to add it to my pudding. It just adds that extra sweetness. So I'm gonna say not the whole can, but most of the can. Not the whole can, but most of the can, okay? So I still have a little bit left in here. Okay, so now that we add the sweetened condensed milk, I'm going to blend again. So I really pray this doesn't splash all over the place like it did before. All right, here we go. I have my blender plugged in and I have it on low. Okay. All right. So the reason why I said not the whole can, just half of the can of sweetened condensed milk, is because we'll be adding our whipped cream to this pudding once the pudding sets. So once this pudding sets, we're going to fold in some homemade whipped cream, and it's going to already be sweetened. So we don't want too much sweetness. So that's just my little take on the recipe. Some people may add the whole can, but I say add most of the can, not the whole can, because you don't want it to be too sweet. We want it to be just enough, right? All right, so This is a good time to taste your pudding to kind of see if the taste is where you want it to be. If not, you can always add more sweetened condensed milk. I think I'm going to add a little bit more sweetened condensed milk and keep blending. So bear with me, you guys. Like I said, you don't have to add the whole can. And this won't be the whole can. There's still some left in here. But if you would like it to be really sweet and milky, go ahead and add the whole can. I tend to just add just enough that, you know, when I taste it, I can taste that, you know, that extra sugar, that extra creaminess. All right. Okay, so I just added everything I needed to add to my pudding. And now I'm going to sit it in the fridge and let it sit for about 4 hours. You want it to sit for that long because you don't want your pudding to be really liquidy. You want it to set and be really firm. All right. All right, so now I'm going to add my pudding to the fridge and I'll be back once the pudding is done setting. Thank you guys. All right, you guys. Our pudding has sat in the fridge for about 4 hours and it is nice and thick. So now I'm going to put this pudding in a bigger bowl because I'm going to fold some whipped cream. I just made some fresh whipped cream. We're going to fold that into our pudding mixture. So let me transfer this pudding to another bowl. So I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. I am transferring my pudding to a bigger bowl because I'm going to fold my whipped cream into this pudding. Okay, so I'm going to fold my whipped cream into this pudding. So this is the whipped cream I just made. If you would like to see how to make homemade whipped cream, please check out the video on my page. Okay, so we're going to take this whipped cream and we're going to add it to our pudding. And then we're just going to fold the whipped cream into the pudding. Just going to fold the whipped cream into the pudding. And this should give our pudding a nice airy feel to it. So we're just folding the whipped cream into the pudding. Just folding the whipped cream into the pudding. All right. So that's well folded. You might want to give it a little taste. It's absolutely delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna put the rest of this whipped cream in the refrigerator because we're gonna use it last to top our pudding off. So we don't want it to be just sitting around getting all hot. So we're gonna put this in the fridge. Now our pudding is perfectly ready for us to get down. I'm going to get the bowl to put this pudding and bananas in, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys. So I like to be very, very neat with my banana pudding, and I like for my layers to show on the outside. So right now I just put some vanilla wafers at the bottom of my bowl here and kind of arranged them so that they're neat. So these are vanilla wafers that I just put on the bottom of the bowl. Let me just fix that so you guys can see what we're doing here. Okay, let me move my whisk out the way. All right, so what we're going to do next is I have a ton of bananas chopped up here. And I'm going to add bananas on top of these wafers. So for the bottom row, I like to be very neat. So I'm going to line my bananas up really neatly around the edge of the bowl. We just want our edges to look very, very good. We can do whatever we want in the middle, but we want the edges to look like we care. So I'm just going to lay these bananas around the edges. Like this in a circle. All right, so we want a banana touching every edge. All right, and then in the middle is kind of a free-for-all. Just, you know, put them however you want in the middle. Like I said, I like my banana pudding to be very, very neat. Very neat. So I'm going to be as neat as possible with this because people like to eat it if it looks very neat, you know. All right, there is a secret ingredient that I did not tell you about in the beginning, and this is one of my grandma's ingredients that she uses. So I'm gonna grab it. Crushed pineapple. So we don't put it all over the place. We just put a little bit of crushed pineapple here or there, and it just, every time you get a little bite of it, it's just absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna add this crushed pineapple, just a little bit. So watch the way that I add the crushed pineapple, because we don't want to over put crushed pineapple. Okay, so this is the crushed pineapple, and I'm just going to take just a little bit and just kind of like dump it into my pudding that I have going on here, like that. Not too much pineapple, but just enough for that they can get like a taste of what's going on. So just a little bit. We don't want it to overpower anything. We just want just a little bit of pineapple in there. Okay. The next layer here is going to be my pudding. So you saw the big bowl of pudding that I had. If I can back up and show you. So I'm going to spoon this over into the bowl as neatly as possible. Right, so once you get that into the bowl really neat and nice, just kind of rub it around like this. All right, so that's our first layer. And if you get a little bit on the side, you can wipe it off. All right, so our first layer is done. Now we have to go on for our second layer, so I'm going to add some more cookies. Like I said, I love being neat with my banana pudding. I don't like a banana pudding that is not neat. So we're going to put these cookies in a nice form around the bowl, like such. As you can see, I'm being extremely neat, almost crazy neat, because that's just the way I like my banana pudding. I like that somebody put effort into it, looking good. That's just the way I like it. All right, so we're gonna put more cookies. All right. All right, so we have another layer of cookies, and we're going to add bananas next. Like I said, I like to be very neat with my banana pudding, so we are going to add the bananas the same way we did the last time. Taking care to be very neat. Because if you're going to make this for other people, you know, you want it to look like you care and like you didn't just slop it around. Right, so I got my bananas going around the edge like this. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just laying the bananas around the edge of this pudding. And bananas are just So interesting. It's like they oxidize so quick, start turning brown so quick. There's a trick to keep them from doing that, which is adding a little bit of lemon juice. But I don't want to jeopardize the taste of my banana pudding because lemon juice can be a little harsh. Right. So the edges are done. I'm going to just start laying some in the middle. All right, so we got our bananas in there. You might want to add a little bit more crushed pineapple, just a little bit, to this. I'm telling you, the crushed pineapple gives it just an amazing flavor when you accidentally bite into pineapple while you're eating your pudding. Okay, so now I'm going to spoon a little bit more of the pudding on top. We might actually have enough to do a few more layers here. All right, so I'm just making sure the pudding is evenly distributed around the bowl. All right, so we're gonna do one more layer. So let me grab my vanilla wafers. Like I said, I'm a neat freak, so we're gonna make this as neat as possible. But now we can move a little bit faster since we are almost at the end. So basically, we're just layering and layering and layering until we get to the top of the bowl, basically. So yeah, don't worry about what these look like because these are going to be covered. All right. All right, our next layer will be bananas going around the edges again. So we got bananas going around the edges, and this will be our last layer of bananas, so you can use all, we're going to use all the bananas that I chopped up. All right, so we are just being as neat as we possibly can, the way that I know how to do it, and we are laying these bananas around the edges like such. All right, and if you would like to add a little bit more pineapple, you can. I guess I'll add just a little bit more. We don't want the pineapple to overtake the flavor, so we're literally just adding a dash here and a dash there, just a little bit. This is my granny's recipe. She loves pineapples in her banana pudding. All right, so we're gonna start adding our bananas to the middle. All right, this will be our last layer of bananas, and we are almost done, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost done. All right. Just a few more bananas left. Get that off of there. All right, so that's our last layer of bananas, and now this is our last layer of pudding that we're gonna put on top. So I'm gonna get all of that out of there. I am actually amazed that I made the correct amount of pudding and I had the right amount of bananas and crackers. All right, so now I'm just gonna rub this around. All All right, so our last layer of this banana pudding is going to be the homemade whipped cream that I made. We're going to top it off with that and some vanilla wafers. What I'm going to do here is get this pudding off. All right. Okay, so next we're gonna top this with the homemade whipped cream that I had. So I'm gonna grab it from the fridge. All right, this is the homemade whipped cream. And we're going to just top our pudding with our homemade whipped cream. Like this. You can like spread it around a little bit. I probably could have made a little bit more homemade banana pudding. I mean homemade Cool Whip, basically. Homemade whipped cream. All right. I want to spread that around just a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. So we're gonna top this baby with some vanilla wafers. You can do a cute little design if you want, up to you. So let's do there. Then we'll put one in the middle. All right. Okay, you guys, we have finished. We are done. You can stick a fork in it. We have created banana pudding, and if you can see how beautiful this looks,